Since I was there and obviously I had a really long video to edit, I did want to make a review on Strong Style Evolved, but obviously I was editing for 2-3 days, so I never really got the chance to do that. So I'll do that now before the year ends. I'll also do one on Dynamite. I don't know when that one's going to come up, but I'll put this one up as soon as possible. If you want to see a full-on vlog, movie-esque thing, it's an hour long, of our full experience, me, Dylan, and Eli's full experience at Strong Style Evolved. You can watch that on this channel in the link in the description, in the comments, or it should pop up in the top left corner, well, top right corner of the video. It's top left for me because I'm facing you. Obviously, as I mentioned before, Strong Style Evolved was my clear, if not all three of our clear favorite day as wrestling fans. Favorite event we've all been to, just off the things that happened before the event alone, and the event itself being so good definitely put the cherry on top. But this video is for the matches, so we're going to talk about the matches, although I will sum up very briefly what happened before the show. We brought Jada Stone to the venue, we asked her some questions in the car, I kept a lot of the information just for us. But you got to hear a little bit of the conversation. She will be touring Japan for a little bit, in TJPW, like I thought would happen. I didn't put it on I didn't put it in the video, but I did tell her, if you're going to do Japan, definitely do TJPW. I feel like Stardom very faction heavy, and I feel like she works a little bit better on her own. In some forms, not a knock to like Maya World or anything. Her style, I feel like would work well against a lot of the wrestlers over there, instead of with as a team. So that's why I personally recommended TJPW, and then literally a couple hours later, TJPW is like, oh, Jada Stone for the first time visiting Japan, TJPW. If Jada Stone ends up facing Miyu Watanabe at any point during her stay there, we're gonna have to talk about that. But yes, we ran into Rocky Romero and Matt Vandagriff, Jack Perry, and TMDK's Shane Haste, Bad Dude Tito. We ran into Filthy Tom Lawler, Viva Van, TJP. And then during the show, which you can actually see on camera, I high-five Shota Umino and fist bump Tom Lawler on the show. I think they might have missed Eli. It looked like they connected on camera. But yeah, I think Tom Lawler might have whiffed on Eli a little bit. It's all good. Dylan as well. He got the Shota Umino and Tom Lawler interaction on the show. Fist bumped Shingo Takagi. I tried to get Mina and Mercedes to interact with me. They just glanced over me, glanced around me. It's alright. And then Matthew Jackson threw his jacket into the crowd. Eli got it. You can see all this happen in that hour-long video. We witnessed wrestling history of Strong Style Evolved. It's all there, but this review right here is about the matches themselves. So, starting off with Zane J versus Matt Vandagriff, New Japan Strong Survivor match in the pre-show. It was pretty good. I liked that they gave Zane J a chance to show himself off. Very fun watch. I did feel like they could have had at least 1 or 2 more pre-show matches, but based on the time that they open the doors, yeah, I guess that lines up. Give the people time to walk around, look at the venue, get merch, get food, bathroom, and then 1 pre-show match and the show starts. But for it being a 1-match pre-show, this was very good. The back and forth was a very good showcase for Zane J, the new Strong Survivor. Matt Vandagriff's style is very fluid, very nice. Zane J, like I said in the past, is very fundamentally sound. Once he really finds his character and his look, he's there. He'll be there. And giving him the torch of Strong Survivor, that'll be a good show. Then he'll be on future New Japan Strong shows, so that'll be great for him. It'll be great for us to see him turn into a star. This does break Matt Vandagriff's winning streak and the New Japan Strong Survivor title, but it's okay. He did amazing in this match as well. These two both showed out in the showcases, and this was a great match to showcase them to the world. Still on YouTube, but it's the step forward. It's a great step forward. Vandagriff's got a lot of experience behind his back too. Considering how young he is, he's got a whole lot of experience. He's got like, what, 7 years under his belt at age 26. That's kind of wild. Then we moved on to the main card with Mina Shirakawa versus Johnnie Robbie to start off the show. I believe Johnnie Robbie's got about 3 going on 4 years of experience, I believe. So this is like a re-announcement of Johnnie Robbie to the wrestling world. because she had a good thing going. Got taken out for a while, returns in this fashion on Strong Style Evolved. Johnny's back and healthy. She and Shirakawa had pretty good chemistry. It felt kind of short to me personally, which I mentioned in that last video, but it was very entertaining throughout. And Mina Shirakawa being as charismatic as she is, obviously a lot of the attention was on her, which is very popular around the American scene of wrestling now more than before. But it was a solid enough opening match to put Johnny Robbie close to where she was before, if not a little bit higher, to be honest. Next up was Grizzled Young Vets against West Coast Wrecking Crew. It was a good tag match. It did feel like both of their regular style. It didn't feel like either of them really had to shift how they do things. Everything seemed to work pretty well. GYV is some of the best in the industry right now. This match was fairly traditional. It was fun. It was fast. It was fast-paced. GYV losing their belts here is big for West Coast Wrecking Crew, who I don't know if they're officially changing their names to World Class Wrecking Crew, but that sounds good to me. I like the sound of that. Your new strong open-weight tag team champions, the World Class Wrecking Crew, does sound good. But this match was very good for not having to change their style up to match their opponent. The chemistry was great. With this and with the story going that if West Coast Wrecking Crew didn't win this, they wouldn't have another shot, or might not get another shot. Them kind of switching from heel against dirty work to face against GYV was interesting to see, and they played it well. Next we had the four-way match between TJP, Kushida, Clark Connors, and Kosei Fujita. I realize now how fast-paced a lot of these matches actually were, looking back on it. The finish was very creative as well. This match was about 10 minutes, but it was very explosive 10 minutes, and a lot was going on. It was a very creative match. This match definitely stood out. A dynamic amount of styles in the ring. Everybody shined. Everybody had their moments. This was a good showcase for Wrestle Kingdom coming up. It was. And the finish was, I believe, there was a two-way submission at a point, and then TJP caught one with a pin and stole it. Very creative. Surprise win. Well, not really a surprise win. I mean, it's TJP, but like surprise fall it was. Kosei Fujita really showed out this time around. He always has, but I got to really see it this time. Then we had Lio Rush vs. Hechicero, which was one of the matches I was looking forward to the most. It definitely delivered in that. I felt that California would be a more Hechicero leaning state, and it definitely was. A lot of the crowd was cheering very loud for Hechicero the entire time. I obviously tried to dispel a little with some Lio Rush chants, and it worked to some degree. But yeah, Lio Rush and Hechicero styles definitely meshed very well. Lio Rush is very fast, and Hechicero can be too. And then, anchoring down Lio Rush with submissions. Very smart tactic. Trying to outpace Hechicero works at times. Hechicero is very strong, however. He's an all-rounder by all means. He can do just about everything. Lio Rush can as well. The powerhouse part's what he's missing. Because he's not the biggest wrestler, but he's faster than just about any of them. Which is why it balances out. Great showing for both. This is a standout year for Hechicero. Lio Rush has picked up since he left WWE for sure, by a long shot. Lio Rush sold his leg great as well. If they had more time, this very well could have been one of the better matches on the show. Honestly, it still was, but it could have been very close to the best match on the show. Sometimes people say, if this run any other show, this would have stole the night. This is one of those. Yeah, Hechicero did beat Lio Rush with that guillotine leg drop, like that running guillotine leg drop. That move's insane. So good length on this match. Then we had United Empire's newest members, Jakob Young and Templario versus Hiromu Takahashi and Titan of Los Ingobernables de Japón. This was Templario's first match under the United Empire umbrella, and it was a victory for him. And so that's a good look for Templario and Jakob Young to start off with. Titan and Templario both having their lucha style, with some of the best chemistry we saw this night, and I hope that doesn't go under the radar at all, because those two were a standout in this match for sure. I do wish Hiromu Takahashi was involved a little bit more in this match, but it does make sense to reserve himself to face Naito in the Tokyo Dome, so I'll accept that. But Jacob Austin Young still did very good. Hiromu Takahashi did good for what he did do. Templario and T-Town really showed up and showed out here. And Templario is going to have a lot more Western eyes on him, so this was a great showcase just to bring a new face into the picture for the juniors. All the juniors did great. United Empire did win this match, and semi-unsurprisingly, I expected that. They had a do whatever it takes to win kind of attitude going into this match, and they did exactly that. Next we had, for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight title, Gabe Kidd versus Ryohei Oiwa. This match was slightly above decent, which I did expect them to do a little more on their own before any interferences would occur. I did expect them to start brawling outside the barricade, and they did the hard-hitting thing as I anticipated, which I did enjoy that a lot. It was fairly the interaction I expected. Clark Connors interfering, and then Fujita coming out to save, and then a couple more interferences happened. It did feel like a bit much. The two did work really hard. It resonated with the crowd a little bit, but only at the point where Gabe Kidd was literally going back and forth with someone in the crowd, which unfortunately the match itself didn't completely do that. I do feel like it was good. The match was good, but it could have been better. I feel like Clark Connors' interference in this one slowed it down a little bit, which I understand that's how it's supposed to be, but I do feel like they could have stalled out on that one or changed how it happened. I'm personally a fan of chops and lariats, so I enjoyed the match itself. I enjoyed it. Ryohei Oiwa did great as well. Ryohei Oiwa did amazing. But I did feel like there was a bit of restraint shown, and that's my only real gripe with this match. Great match. Gabe Kidd retains. I really want to see him face Kenny Omega in the Dome. That's that. It was great. Gabe Kidd did good. They both did good. It was a good match. Good match. I feel like it could have been just a little bit more. Then we had Dirty Work and Shota Umino versus TMDK's Bad Dude Tito, Shane Haste, and Zack Sabre Jr. I do feel like this match was fine. I feel like this match purely happened to lay the foundation of Shota Umino versus Zack Sabre Jr. more so than Dirty Work and TMDK, which makes sense. It's a preview for their Wrestle Kingdom main event, which great. The finish was brutal. The finish was great. There were some pretty good sequences going on between Shota Umino and Zack Sabre Jr. Bad Dude Tito getting the pin for TMDK over Tom Lawler was the way to go, I do feel like. The tequila screwdriver on Tom Lawler was great. Tom sold it well. Everyone did seem to matter at a point, but I really don't have anything significantly negative to say about this match. It did feel very standard, though, which featuring the world champion and who they seem to be presenting us as the next ace of the company, I would have expected a little bit more, but it was very solid. Next we had Jack Perry and Konosuke Takeshita versus Shingo Takagi and Yota Tsuji of Los Ingobernables de Japón. So obviously Takeshita and Shingo Takagi is a very sought after match, always has been. Since we saw Takeshita lay out Tomohiro Ishii, Takeshita has grown as a star very fast in America, and he was a little bit of a star in Japan before he even made it out here. So Shingo and Takeshita's interactions were very good. Great even. Amazing. Yota Tsuji and Jack Perry did very good as well. However, I do feel that, although this is being a preview for two individual matches, really hyped up one of them. I don't feel like Jack Perry and Yota Tsuji's interactions really hyped up their match enough, even though Jack Perry did get the finish over Yota. And the low blow into the pin, it does set up for some animosity between the two, but throughout the match, I don't feel like it was enough because Jack Perry was doing Jack Perry things. I like Jack Perry doing Jack Perry things, like sitting outside by the barricade getting massaged by one of the fans, stuff like that. I do enjoy to see it, but when I talk in the perspective of everybody else, well, you guys are gonna have a match in the Tokyo Dome. So why are you getting massaged with it? It's all good to me. I felt like it was very entertaining. Takeshita and Shingo had just about everybody on their feet. I do feel like Takeshita and Shingo Takagi are going to steal the Tokyo Dome night, and I am here for it all the way. I came there in a Shingo Takagi shirt. I fist bumped Shingo Takagi by the ramp. But yeah, Shingo and Konosuke Takeshita had a couple of very good sequences. I did enjoy seeing it. This match was pretty well put together. LIJ was great as a team. Obviously, Jack Perry and Konosuke aren't going to have the same chemistry because they're not on the same team, not on the same faction. So they have their own motives. I get that. But even for that, individually, Takeshita did showcase himself a little bit more in this match. But this did also set up something for the Elite. So there's that as well. And lastly, we had my personal match of the night. Hazuki vs. Mercedes Moné for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Honestly, if you ask just about anybody but Dave Meltzer, this one was a 5-star match by all means for the women. For some reason, Mercedes Moné's chemistry against Joshi, it's just second to none. She can put on a good match with anybody, just about anybody. Her matches in Stardom and New Japan have been some of the better women's matches I've ever seen. This match has to be the women's match of the year. I would personally say the best women's match in the last 2 or 3 years. This was also one of the best Hazuki matches I've seen. The woman against Sayaka Mitani was very good. But this one, I do feel like was a little bit better than that. I did think it was interesting how after the Britt Baker match, everyone completely flipped on Mercedes, and then she went on to put on 2 or 3 of the best matches of the year. And now she's going to be wrestling at the Tokyo Dome against Mina Shirakawa. The crowd was on fire the whole time. The match was paced well. Hazuki got so over with the crowds. Hazuki almost like a murder mode. It was crazy. And then there was great chemistry. They did amazing. Their sequences were great. It was a fairly long match, and it was approaching 30 minutes, and it didn't feel like it at all. This match didn't drag on at all. Mercedes Moné is a clear best in the world candidate, and Hazuki is definitely putting on a show for herself as well, because this match was fantastic. This match was outstanding. It just was. Everybody felt that Hazuki just might pull it out for 10 minutes. I hope Stardom eventually, soon enough, put some kind of rocket on Hazuki. Get a nice little belt on Hazuki. That was likely the best women's match to ever occur on American soil. That I do agree with from Meltzer. Like I said in the last video, in that Strong Softball video, I was at WrestleMania 39, and I don't even think Charlotte vs. Rhea was the best match of that weekend. I don't even think Charlotte vs. Rhea was the best women's match of WrestleMania. And I don't feel like that should be a hot take. I do feel like this match was significantly better than that, and I you can't really say I have a bias of any kind. What you can't say I was not there at the other one. I was there at both. I was actually in LA. I'm from LA. I was in LA at WrestleMania. There's no bias there. I don't hate WWE. I don't hate Rhea Ripley. I don't hate Charlotte Flair. It's like that match didn't move me like that. But Mercedes and Hazuki definitely had me on my feet a bunch. If you saw me in the arena, you saw me swinging my Stardom towel, standing up, kind of yelling out Hazuki Straw when it happened. That was me. Yep, that was all me. Big old match. Love that match. That was Strong Style Evolved. Please make my numbers grow higher. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But if you had a favorite match from Strong Style Evolved, or have any other input on this event that I might be forgetting to mention, comment it. I read those. I read the comments. I do. Like I mentioned before, this was probably my favorite night as a wrestling fan. As a fan of the sport, this was probably my favorite night. This is my favorite event I've been to by far. I didn't expect it to be that way either. I didn't expect that at all. Even though this was technically a pay-per-view event, this would be my first pay-per-view outside of WWE that I'm seeing in person. Yeah, this would technically be my first pay-per-view outside of WWE that I've been to. The only pay-per-view I've been to before is WrestleMania. I thought I would have been to an AEW pay-per-view before New Japan one, but here comes this one rolling around. Then there's Revolution in March. I would have been at Full Gear if I were in California at the time. Went to Big Business. I'll accept that. I had a good time in Big Business. I didn't have a problem in Big Business. There's a VIP. You can watch that video as well. If I summarize the things I obtained, I picked the brain of Jada Stone. I got some knowledge from there. We got some insight from Jack Perry. He signed my TNT title. You want proof? I took a picture of it and put it on one of the teasers, but right here, maybe. That was Strong Style Evolved. If there's anything I'm forgetting, comment that down below. If there's anything in particular you would like me to speak about or talk about on video, you can drop your suggestions or what you want to hear about, because I can talk about it from my perspective. I've acknowledged that I have a slightly different perspective or viewpoint of the sport from other wrestling fans, because my introduction to wrestling wasn't a TV show, it was a video game. So I have a slightly different viewpoint on the sport than a lot of others would. So if there's anything you want to hear, if you're trying to hear about me or AEW or New Japan or the WWE, I'll talk about anything. I will. Just drop down topics that you want to hear about. I might just make a video about it. I've done it in the past. Yeah, that was Strong Style Evolved. Now, before I tune off, thanks to my dad for getting me the toy replica AEW World Championship. Hopefully the full-size one is coming up next. But honestly, after I get the real AEW World Championship, I don't really plan on getting more belts. Maybe. I don't plan on it, though. The full-size one is the last stop for me, honestly. So I put it in the throne thing. If I receive that belt, I don't plan on getting more. That's the end-all be-all, probably. Most likely. Until I get a space to myself where I can make a big display case or something. Get off my video now. That's it. That's the video. You got the little update. You got the video. Leave. You can go now. Go.